So let's have a look at the aspect of the function that has to do with table and the graph. Kind of very often things that come up on the junior cert. However, as well on the leaving cert. So it's good for us to know how to do that. So here we have function f of x, and then we have a function given to us. Yeah, it looks a little bit different because it has a fraction, but don't forget, it's about x and y. So we have to complete the table below showing the values of fx for given values of y, and they are giving us values of y, and we have to find the values, the values of x, and they are giving, and we have to find the values of y. So that's your x, that's your y. The reason why we don't call every function y equal, so that we can differentiate them. And we have to give the values correct to 2 decimal places where appropriate. So yes, since we have 3, all need to fill in, yes, you can take this function and let's say I want to find the value for for when x is 1 and replace x with -1, put it in your calculator, press equal and get the answer. But my advice is learn how to use your calculator to put the function in order to get the table. Yeah, it's very important because it will save you time in the exam, especially in the leaving cert. At the moment, we have simple functions, so it is a good time to learn that because we're going to need that. It's going to benefit us. So don't forget your calculator after, depending on what kind of calculator you have, usually you go to menu and you look for the table, the function option, and then usually your calculator will say, well, what kind of function do you have? So we put that, and after that, it will ask you about the values of x. So therefore, usually it will say, with what value do you want to start? So in this case, we are starting with -1. We'll ask you, well, with what value of x do you want to end? That will be 4. And then it will ask you about the step, meaning how much do you want to step between those values of x. And in this case will be 1 because we are just stepping 1. And when we press equal, we get the values in our table. So we should have 2 here, 0.67, and then at the end 0.34. Remember, 2 decimal place. Then the next part, again very typical, is about using those values from the table to draw the graph of the function. So we are picking the first part, value of x -1, value of y 2. So x is -1 and y is 2, so that's my first point. Then the next point, 0 and 1. So sorry, it keeps disappearing on me. Hold on, let me just adjust the screen a bit. Now it's a little bit better. So 0, which is here, that's the value of x, and 1 value of y, then 1 for x and 0.67. Now we have to understand where will be that 0.67. So as you can see, each square here, so those 2 squares are 0.5, that means here is 0.25. Yeah, okay, so that means that here will be 0.75. So that is 6, that is 7. So my value will be somewhere here, 67. Then for 2 is 0.5, 2, 0.5. And then for 3, 0.4. So again, that is 0.25. That will be 0.3. 0.4 will be more or less here. And then 4 and 0.3. So somewhere here will be my last value. And don't forget, in order to have the full graph, we have to join the dots, yeah? Okay, well done. And like I'm saying, make sure you figure out with your calculator you are using how to get that function in that table for the function in your calculator. It is a very useful skill.